We are living in unprecedented times. No matter what industry you come from, we must all review, rethink, and reinvent ourselves. Are you an entrepreneur that is trying to adapt your business to the new norm? Well, you are listening to the 2020 Entrepreneur, a podcast that will motivate you and have you think outside of the box. My name is Hugo Almeida, and with over 30 years of being an entrepreneur, I am here to share and inspire you with my experiences and help invent a new you. Hello, everybody out there, and welcome once again to a new episode of T20E World. Hugo here. Today, we are talking about the art of listening. Why is this important? Whether it's business, entrepreneurship, whether it's just in life, it is essential to understand the art of listening. What does it do for us? It enables you to connect a lot better. A lot better when you're trying to communicate, express yourself, you're connecting with the other individual because you're learning to understand how to listen, what you're looking for. You also establish trust, respect between the individual and yourself. You enable yourself to become even a better negotiator, to assist, to solve solutions or situations that come about. So you're always finding solutions to different challenges. Listen, if you could understand what it is to be a better listener, to understand the art of listening, it's going to open up so many other opportunities for you in your life. Please remember that. To listen is to learn. I'll probably repeat that throughout this podcast several times because it is key. So this applies in almost any setting, right? Any form of listening, for example, this podcast. Sometimes someone is expressing their emotions, their suffering, their pain, information gathering, right? We're trying to learn something. We're evaluating. Maybe it's an interview. These are all different styles and methods of listening. I'll break it down to four. And there's probably a bunch of others, but let's break it down to four simple ones. There's appreciative listening, right? That's listening to music, we're driving down the highway, or we just have our headphones on and we're listening. Just total enjoyment. Maybe this podcast. No pressure. We're chillaxing. Then there's comprehensive and information listening. Maybe it's to a teacher because we're in a classroom. Maybe it's to our parents. Maybe it's our coach. We're listening to information that they're trying to get into our brains, right? We're trying to understand. We're trying to learn. Also, empathetic listening. That's a different connection, whether it's through children, through marriage, through your significant other. It's an emotional connection. There's critical listening. And that is when we're trying to understand the points that are being set in this conversation. It's more of a scrutinizing conversation, right? We're trying to really dissect that conversation and pull out and understand those important points that are trying to get across. Now, I always say, and I'm sure many of us have heard this from our parents, you hear me, but you're not listening to me, right? Listen, there's a big difference between the both of them. When I hear something, it's because it's just noise, man. You're not connecting with me. It's just wah, wah, wah. So to listen is to stay focused. Now, the art of listening, it takes work and understanding. It's not easy to be a good listener. That's why I'm going to cover certain key aspects as to, why is it important to be a good listener and what's the outcome? What does it do for me at the end, right? Again, to listen is to learn. The better we understand this, the more of an impact we're not only going to have on ourselves in our life, but we are going to be enabling ourselves to solve different situations out there, to assist others, become better negotiators, find solutions to different challenges out there. So, going back to the topic that it is not easy to be a good listener. It does take work and understanding. And I'll give you a couple examples. Listen, you're in a classroom setting or a lecture hall. Perfect example. I wasn't the greatest guy to go to a classroom when I was in college. There was days I just walked into the classroom between 8 and 9 a.m. I was physically there, but man, I was definitely not mentally there. So anything my professor said to me, I just heard them. It was just noise. Not cool, because at the end of 1 hour, I just wasted time. Something that I appreciate today a lot more than I did when I was back in school, which is why it's so important. I try to get that point across to you. Respecting time, another episode. Take a listen to it. It is so important. For that 1 hour that you're going in to a classroom setting, a lecture hall, whatever it may be, get your mindset together. Be prepared, okay, mentally. Block out everybody else, all that noise around you, individuals that might be picking at your ear. Block it out. Stay focused. You're going into that class with a game plan, and that's to learn. At the end of the day, listening is to learn. Okay? Listen, team environments, right? Now you're in corporate America. Maybe you're trying to come up with a solution, and you're that person that likes to speak all the time, and I got this idea, Becoming a better listener enables that team to succeed together. I know, not easy, right? Especially when we think we might have all the solutions. But if you're on a team of 5 and you understand the art of listening, you're going to get that every individual on that team has something to say, and just maybe, it clicks. Together, you can collaborate amazing solutions to so many challenges. So sharing ideas and listening and discussing is so critical to coming up with those solutions. Listen, at home, after a day at work, I get there and I am sometimes mentally and emotionally drained, depending on the kind of day I had. So I'm not the best listener when I get home, right? Especially my wife at that point probably wants to talk to me. And I'm just not feeling it. So I educate myself on becoming a better individual to understand when I'm just wiped out. Maybe I just need some downtime, maybe 20 minutes of just me time to unwind. And then, I respect the other individual and the conversation that we need to have. So I become a better listener at that point. So know yourself. Very important, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to be a genuine listener. And, it takes discipline. It takes focus, and that is going to be key. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the art of listening when it's one-on-one. So many times throughout your life, it's going to be that one-on-one conversation where you need to stay on point, game hat on. You're focused on the speaker, okay? So it is important that you set the tone for the conversation. You make the climate comfortable for the both of you, right? So you want this conversation eventually to be natural, to be flowing. So you got to work on setting the tone, making that climate very comfortable, again, for the both. Be genuine. And what I mean by that is be the best you. I'll probably say that so many times on other podcasts, but it's so true. If you're genuine, you're going to set that comfort zone, right? That you're going to set that tone. It'll make everything just flow so much better. You're going to make a connection with the other individual. You're going to get some key points across. You're going to be able to be a better listener. You're focused on the individual. Another important point here is making good eye contact, right? When you're on one-on-ones, your eyes shouldn't be wandering. You should really show the individual you're focusing. You're focusing on that person and that conversation. So what's happening? You're absorbing the information, right? That brain is absorbing and processing your conversation. That is good, So when I say make good eye contact, I'm not talking about staring someone down. I'm not talking about looking so deep into their eye you could see their brain, right? From time to time, you glance around the room. It's cool, but you want to just make that eye contact. And if you don't feel comfortable staring at somebody in the eye, look between their eyebrows. I always say a lot of people have a lot of challenges trying to stare at somebody or make that eye contact. And it could be for many other reasons, but the best way to break into it is choose a spot on their forehead, between their eyes, between their eyebrows. It's going to help. Because you're not staring at their eyes. You're staring at another point on their body, okay? Just a little tidbit of advice, right? When you're trying to make that eye contact. Here's another critical point, and that is observing body language. Just remember, we can pick up so many messages that are just nonverbal through body language. There's a lot of information out there that's not being said that potentially is being said just through the movement. So when you establish that connection, you're listening. You're listening to what's going on, but you're reading the body language, right? Maybe you're on a topic that doesn't make the other individual comfortable. They might not come out and say, hey, listen, I don't feel comfortable talking about this, but you can read this on their body language. Are they stressing? Maybe you're talking about something that's not so cool with them and they're starting to stress a little bit. So you got to be able to pick up on these things, So the art of listening enables a lot of other things in ourselves as a conversation, creating the comfort level, setting that tone, we're reading their bodies. Sometimes you could pick up when they're talking too much and they're starting to stretch to truth. Why? I like to call it, they're just slipping right outside of their comfort zone. Meaning they're talking about something that they understand, and then all of a sudden they start pushing outside of their limits, and you're picking up on them. I just let people talk. I just let them go right outside their border just to see sometimes, wow, how far-fetched can they get? but I eventually cut them down, bring them back into the conversation. But it's important, too, to read the body language. Are they trusting you? And you can tell this by the body language. You're going to set that comfortable tone. You're going to feel the more relaxed environment. They might be very comfortable. I mean, I'm not talking about somebody laying back in their chair, kicking their feet up on your desk. I'm just saying, you established it. You know it. You got that warm feeling. Things are just flowing. This is going to enable so much more. Again, to listen is to learn. And the goal truly is to converse with a human in that person. I mean, you want the real them, That, my friends, right there, that is the art of listening. Once you make that connection, that human connection, you get the real you, the real them. That's a home run, my friends. So, okay, what does good listening do for me, right? What is it in for me? A good listener, the art of listening and understanding it brings so much value to your life. It's going to not only enable you to become a better individual at home, at work, but also it's going to enable you to be good at business, entrepreneurship, good at creating that ambiance with an individual and truly connecting. So what does it do for me? It creates an understanding. It enables people to connect with you. Remember? The real you, the human in you. It creates trust. It creates trust amongst you and the other person. It enables them to come to you to talk about something maybe that's on their mind, whether it's an idea, whether it's a situation that they're going through. You have created trust. Respect. People respect you because you're a good listener. You know how to respond because you're truly absorbing and processing the information that they're speaking. And what does this do for us? It enables us to solve situations, to assist. We become better negotiators. Listen, at the end of the day, you want to find a solution to a challenge. There's a lot of questions that go back and forth. There is an art of negotiation. I'll get into in another podcast, but a good listener is a good negotiator as well. We are on this planet. It's just for a short period of time when you say it all. The goal here really is to help in the end of the day, right? A good listener would enable themselves to communicate better, to assist others, to negotiate to find solutions for a better cause. To listen is to learn, my friends, and that truly is the art of listening. I hope this information on the art of listening sinks in. It is so critical. If you take this podcast and some of the other ones, add them together, man, it's going to bring out the genius in you. Trust me when I tell you this. It is critical to understand truly the art of listening. All right, my friends, with that said, I am wrapping up, and this is Hugo checking out.